Accept your death.
So I have about 4 houseplants that I very poorly keep alive because I feel like it's like good for my mental health to have some plants around, a little bit of greenery or whatnot. But I have this one plant that I've been watering for like probably a couple months, and it just like it's I can tell that it's still like alive, but it just looks so sad. And then I went over to like run my hands through it just to like make sure the leaves were good, and like 70% of the leaves are just dried garbage, and that's when I was like, maybe you need to like prune these things every once in a while, like remove all those
You
garbage
murdered
leaves.
it.
So,
Did you murder it, or it was just the leaf? It was just shedding.
it was shedding like crazy, and like I heard once that you're supposed to take any dead leaves off a plant because if you water it, it'll still send the water to those dead leaves anyways, and it's just wasting nutrients. So if you don't take them off,
Dumbass plant.
right?
And water to dead leaves.
couldn't imagine, couldn't imagine doing that. So, yeah, so I took like 3 whole handfuls off. The whole thing's pretty much bald. But it's a lot happier now. The leaves that are still there, they're thriving. I call it my party plant because like it's like the leaves like droop, and as soon as you water it, they just like hands in the air, like it's party time.
You just live the wildlife, don't you?
This
Like every
is-
time you tell one of these stories, it's like, man, how do you even keep up with that kind of lifestyle?
Can you just imagine? Like you can hear the excitement in my voice as I'm talking about how I learned about how not to kill my plants. These are
Is it like when people that have like a poodle and they take it to the groomer, it's got a fresh cut, and it's all shaped and stuff? Is that how you feel about your plant?
that's how I feel. I can't stop looking at it. I'm looking at it right now. Like you're just living your best life. Look at those leaves. Those are some good ass leaves.
Do you name your plants?
I only named one.
You sound pretty invested.
I've only ever named one of my plants. I named him Planty the Plant, if you could believe that. But he unfortunately got decapitated because I had like a weight bench at one point in my room, and my son was playing around with it. This is when he was little, and he took the weights off one side of the bar, and just completely flipped the bar, decapitated the whole plant. He was so sad.
And you haven't named a plant since. That trauma's carried on.
I haven't named a plant since. That was the last time I named a plant. Maybe I'll name this plant that I'm looking at right now. I don't know what I'd name him, but something party. Somebody you would meet at a party.
Herman.
That's the first name that comes to mind when I think of party people. Yep, Herman.
Yeah.
Herman, the herb plant.
That's a good name.
Well, it's a name. Sorry for any Hermans out there. It's a name, that's for sure. But you know what isn't a name? Comments.
Comments, yeah.
Wow, that was terrible by my standards. But hey, I went for it. You gotta respect it. So, I just want to give a quick shout out to one comment in particular. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I literally laughed out loud when I read this from Pablo Blart. It says, I left so many banger comments and the Shujinkydink guy got mentioned before me, and I find that pretty hilarious and pretty awesome. And I love the the team player mentality there, like leaving all these comments and the Hatyr guy got in. Well, that's pretty cool.
Sometimes it just be like that,
Sometimes it do be like that. Yep, 100%. So I wanted to give you a shout out anyway, because that made me laugh pretty hard. So that was pretty good. So
speaking of comments, like we had almost 70 or something. That was a lot of comments.
yeah, that was the most comments I think we've had in a very long time, and it's like not even close.
Nothing like a tier list with a couple hot takes in it to bring out the YouTube comment engagement.
Oh yeah, totally. Everyone's got an opinion when it comes to tier lists, so it was nice to see. We appreciate the engagement and really positive vibes.
Yeah, thanks for keeping it classy, right? Not a lot of insulting or anything like that going on, so that's good.
Yeah, nobody was too brash or anything. So first comment we're going to get to here from Irony. Damn, I'm kind of new at the game. After T1000 Shadow Nerf gutting, I was starting to learn Conan, but according to you, he's literally the worst character in the game. I don't plan to play ranked or become super pro with it, and I haven't found much zoning problems in quick play yet. Is he that bad and worthless to play? Absolutely not. That's definitely the upside to this game, is that the balance is so much that I don't think that any character is completely unviable to win. And especially if you're not playing pro or anything like that, you could have a lot of success with Conans. Even myself, when I fight them, I find myself that I'm so unfamiliar with his strings, and his mids are good. He has that crazy, I think it's standing 2. It's like a really good poke. Like, he has a lot of things going for him. It's just in a competitive state of the game, he gets outshined almost everywhere. But I would never, discourage anybody from playing a character, especially if you particularly like Conan. Maybe you saw Conan and you're one of these people that NRS is trying to reach out to anyways and say, hey, you like this character? He's in the game. You can play.
People body with low tier characters all the time. Don't listen to tier lists. Tier lists are fun for like the discussion and things like that, but especially before they even got to the part about not wanting to take it, like, it sounds like they're taking it semi-seriously, but don't want to be like super sweaty, and it's not going to be like a huge investment, but still want to be like good at the game. Absolutely do not listen to anybody's hot takes about characters. Play whatever you want. Whoever looks cool. You hear a lot of advice from other content creators, right? They're like, you play a character that you think is cool, that's going to keep you motivated enough to keep playing the game. Don't play the tier game. Just somebody that you vibe with.
Yeah, 100%. And then once you kind of learn the character and you learn the game with that character, then you can branch out if you want to, or you're just going to get better at the game because you understand it better with that character. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, don't listen to tier lists as far as what characters to pick. You control your own destiny in that regard. I think that's a Conan quote, probably.
Right, and honestly, it's like there is a whole gradient of tier lists that apply to depending on like skill level, who you're playing against, how you're playing, and that's why you see such a wide variety, and like very static kind of like top. When we're talking about top 5 and stuff, that seems to be pretty consistent. When we're talking about like sweaty competitors, people doing the online circuits and all that stuff, and other people that take it semi-seriously and they have really good characters, but they're maybe not tapped into that, or they don't subscribe to that meta or whatever, and they're playing like a totally different sort of game. Like a tier list you see from True Underdog is not going to be the same as a tier list that you see from like Mighty Unjust or something. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, true. Your mileage may vary, as they say. So your experience, every experience is different, and every person has different views and opinions on things, and have maybe seen some stuff in a little circle that nobody else has seen. Kind of like the Cyrax Serena thing that nobody saw and then just came out and won a pro comp event. Like, no big deal, right? So you never know. Maybe there's a super broken. I see Conan and Shujinkydink is actually one that I saw that was talked up as one of his better cameos because of the extra health, and then the combo potential that he has with him is pretty good as well. And Shujinkydink gives you projectiles, so maybe that might be something you want to explore. But don't give up just because we said something's bad. What do we know? Well, more. What do I know?
I didn't say anything.
I was
you
gonna
said.
say,
I was just here.
Hater was just here to be like, what? That's a hot take. I don't know about that.
Just like the whole burden's on you. I don't want any of the blowback.
Yeah,
none of this here. I'm just facilitating.
Yeah, it's funny. I was listening to a tier list for another game, and the two people that were going over it were talking about, oh, it'd be so boring if we just agreed with each other the whole time, and then they kind of did, and it was very boring. So it was kind of nice that Hater, you threw it every once in a while. Are you sure? Your good buddy Ghostface there, top 5, huh?
Yeah, right.
So I need to have those checks and balances in place. I'm definitely one to make hot takes all the time, and
I'm the fun police.
Yeah.
Too. So
bring that down.
Don't go having a good time around me. I won't have any of that.
Yeah. Why are you having fun? I specifically requested you don't.
Right.
So thanks for that comment. Keep me in the loop on how your Conan experience goes. I want to hear more about that. Next comment here from Larry. Dink mentioned there's a lot of counterplay to Homelander. Question to the group: what are your tips for counterplay to Homelander? And I kind of want to respond to this in a way just so that everyone knows there's no like magic bullet. Like there's one thing that you can use against pretty much like, this goes for every character, not just Homelander, but like at the end of the day, you need to have good solid fundamentals and know the matchup and know your options. Against Homelander specifically, there's a couple things that you can kind of just like in general. If you know these things, it's going to make the matchup easier. One is like he no longer has that sweeping low, so the mix is more between overhead and throw now. An annoying Homelander is going to throw in a sweep every once in a while just to make you think about low options, and there's always the getting sweep to death kind of a thing, but understanding that it's more of a strike throw kind of a thing than a overhead low. Mind you, when Homelander came out and they had that was such a ridiculous. Who thought that was a good idea? Come on now. I'm glad they nerfed that low. That was really stupid. So that's one thing. Second thing is understanding like his dash, like the full screen dash that he does. So he has the grab. A lot of them will use the Farah from, and they'll go into combos. He also has a kick that's plus on block. Both of those options are highs. So if you see him kind of charging at you, the least amount of risk is to kind of just neutral duck, and both of those big options will whiff, and you can full combo punish. He does have a mid option from that will hit you if you do that, but it's just a knockdown, and I believe he gives up his turn if you block it. So that's a big thing too, forcing him to give up that kind of screw neutral move to just kind of kick you in the face, kind of huge in that matchup. So right off the bat, those are two big things that I would say would probably help out big time in that matchup. And don't forget, he can't block when he's in the air. I find a lot of Homelanders that will just float in the air, and I don't know, I'll sky drop him or something like that.
He's definitely one of those characters, more so than others, especially when you're not familiar with the matchup. Like you're playing against the player more than you are the character, and they're really smart, like neutral and decisions and when to fuck neutral and all that sort of stuff. You can really see the difference in skill level. It's very, very pronounced with Homelander. So my advice is don't let characters by default get into your head and you just start stressing yourself out like before the first round like even began. Like really pay attention to what they're doing and pick your, sometimes you have to learn in the moment when you don't know, and try to do your standing one. And if you're convinced that you didn't do it too late and they still beat it, then it's safe, and then you take a mental note and you either don't challenge next time or you try something else. But people get really patterny, right? They have flow charts that work, and then they'll start to crumble when they don't work. Not a lot of people have good backup plans when their primary game plan doesn't work.
Yeah, and that's just a good tool for in general. That's a good solid point. I was playing a couple people yesterday while I was hanging out in the Discord, and once I beat their one game plan that they were trying to do, they had no backup plan. They were just flailing, and it was easy, just counter and take control of the game. So it's kind
right. I feel like Homelander kind of overall, more than a lot of other characters, kind of they have this reputation, so it's easy to get stressed out about that character easily, just like at the character select screen, right? More than other ones, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just projecting, but I feel like that's not an uncommon sentiment.
No, I would agree with that for sure. Kind of your ears perk up a little bit when I see a Homelander. I'm like, okay, because I don't know how they're going to play. Are they going to play completely wild, and I'm just never ready for what they're going to do? Or are they going to be calculated and kind of mix me to death? So you never know what to expect there. So hopefully those tips kind of helped a little bit there. Last comment, Austin Schmokes. Reiko not in top 15 is actually so wild. And I kind of wanted to use this comment to kind of jump off into just kind of a slight recap. We've had almost a week now of sitting on that tier list, and I gotta say, from playing this week, I think we're gonna see some Reiko shenanigans. Like that character, oh baby, that character's got some craziness. I definitely would probably move him up now. I don't know who I would move out, but man, like I expect in the pro comp in the next coming weeks here, we're gonna see some Reiko stuff. He's a problem. You just keep buffing
And
this guy.
is this just Reiko Tremor? Is this because of the Tremor buff or because of changes that Reiko got, or both of them combined?
I think it's both of them combined, honestly. Like just his whole tool set now. And it's interesting because that upper crust move that Tremor has, somebody pointed out a couple
Is that
months
really
ago.
what it's called? The upper crust?
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not smart enough to come out of that out of nowhere. I saw that in the Discord the other day. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what the move's called. Is it not? Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm just actually like the funniest guy on the planet.
I think you're right.
Um,
I believe you.
So that move does not have very much scaling at all. So and now that Reiko can combo that off of his overhead, like that's like the damage that I was just doing in practice mode, probably not even optimal. Like I think 1 bar, and then full Cameo was like almost 400, something like
The
that.
buff to his overhead was a couple patches ago, though, right? And the upper crust has always done that. So I don't think those are recent changes.
I think it's something to do with his cycling that made it possible now, where it wasn't before.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
He's a little faster now.
The Tremor buff.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as cameos go, I think Tremor's sitting on top of the hill right now. So if we were to do a cameo tier list, he'd probably be top 1, I would say. But
Tremor's the new Chameleon. Like what Chameleon was last summer is what Tremor is right now, I feel like.
Yeah, 100%. Where you're even playing Combat League, he's everywhere. He gives everybody something that's 100 health on top of everything else, like which I feel he doesn't really need anymore because that was like his thing when like he first came out because he didn't really do anything else. It was like, hey, 100 extra health, here you go. But now that he's just got so many different things he can do, I don't think he needs that 100 health anymore. I don't even know if he could give you 50. I think that could be a little bit overkill, but maybe it's a good thing that I'm not balancing the game. I don't know. I know you haven't really been playing Hatyr. Did you end up playing a little bit this morning? I think I saw you guys in there.
Yeah. Yep, I did. One last Tremor note. I want to say that Tremor Johnny Cage was the team. I don't really like Johnny Cage in general, but I like watching that team a lot. Very, very cool stuff. And I think thematically they gave him the 100 health. Well, he didn't always give 100 health. That was one of the very early buffs that they gave him. And they were kind of treating him like Frost and, just giving him little tweaks like here and there. And I think they finally just gave up with the cooldown thing. And then after the cooldown thing, they decided to do the variation switch recovery. But they did that with other cameos too, like Frost's wall. Got the same sort of treatment, and that really kind of changed the game for some things. Not really, not the way that Tremor is benefiting from it, but it's definitely way nicer, obviously.
Yeah, more possibilities and stuff. I've seen everyone sharing their tier lists recently, and people still have Frost as the bottom cameo, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that because I think I've seen more Frost tech than anybody else other than yourself because you've shown it to me. So I think that she's a pretty viable cameo, but I think maybe she's just hyper specific, and that's kind of what makes her.
I don't think her tools apply like equally or set like the way that. Here's the thing. I feel like people automatically start to dismiss cameos that can't give you throw combos and armored launchers. And the reason why a cameo like Serena can be one of these cameos that don't do those things, but also be like a really top tier cameos because of her, tool set and her unique ambushes and stuff. Frost is a little bit more like setups, and not everybody has like a way to do that, like in a guaranteed sort of fashion. I just don't think that it's has really high synergy with some characters, but I don't think it's as anybody could use a hit confirm into Ice Carpet, right, for a little bit extra damage, even with the damage scaling and stuff. But if you're a character that can actually benefit from all that extra frame advantage, like if you play the Sub-Zero cameo, right, if you're Quan, you can Portal, and if you're Natara, you can Blood Ritual. If you're Sindel, you have the cameo buff. If you're Noob, you have Portal. If you're Sector, you have a Sidewinder that you can combo into after it hits, things like that. But just a little, I wouldn't say hyper specific, but a little more specific.
It takes a little bit more tender loving care, to make her work.
Like
with
really
the
get something out of it. But the idea of Frostwall giving you corner combos mid-screen is now way more possible that you can call it out. So like you can hit confirm one button and bring out the wall and start doing your corner combo. It's like way easier to do stuff like that. Because they took like 20 frames off of it or something, 14 frames. I don't remember what it was specifically, but it's way noticeable. Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Super fast now. So like if you have a character like, I don't know, off the top of my head, I'm thinking maybe Natara, whose combos do like significantly more damage in the corner. That might be something that would be pretty good for her. You know, assuming she doesn't throw her opponent over the wall. I don't know if that still thing was possible.
Well, the thing with Frostwall, as opposed to the real corner, it's really easy to side switch yourself. Something about the interactions with the walls. So anytime you try to do anything like too fancy, like if you do something in the air, you end up on the other side. So you can use that to your advantage. Say like Natara, for example. Let's say Natara has her back to the corner, and the opponent is coming in towards her, big whiff, and she does a dive kick punish. Like a whiff punish with the dive kick. Instead of just doing her regular combo and then ending up mid-screen, she can call out a quick frost wall, do her normal, jump string into an air dash, and then it switches sides. Like, it's just the way that it works. Noob Cybot, same sort of thing. If you call it out for his, like you do one jump, 2, 3, 4, then all of a sudden you're facing the wrong way. But again, you can use those for quick side switches when you need to. And with Natara specifically, it's really good for setting up corner situation with the ending your combo with the dive kick for the hit advantage. You can get a blood ritual and a meaty forward one. That's really big for her, I feel like.
Yeah, that's huge. That's pretty big. I miss playing against your Natara Frost. I remember the early days. I think I was playing Quan Motaro at that time because I was reflecting your ice bomb back at you. There were some funny moments there. Like, that's my old bomb.
that was the first time I felt like I had a real Frost team. I tried Frost a bunch, and she was kind of bad at the beginning. But she had started coming around. She got right when she got the Frostwall was probably about the time that I started playing Natara, and that was more of a Frost experience than a Natara one. But Natara's so fun.
I've never touched her. She just doesn't really. I'm only to lab against her. She doesn't interest me at all to play. Her gameplay is not my style at all. But I could see how, I mean, when you hit a combo for like 550 damage into like Blood Ritual, that's got to be a good feeling, I'm sure.
Yeah, she's fun, and she has unique strengths that are also, could also be weaknesses or something, right? Like her back four, the way like she's got a really fast mid, but it doesn't have any cancel advantage, right? She doesn't have a really good way to like hit confirm it and, even get cancels like on block because she can't really use it for pressure. You can kind of poke out of cameos that try to come in behind it as a summon, things like that. But she's got the double hitting low that the first hit special cancelable. That's got its own little special super hit confirmable combo if you want to spend a bar. It's just so many inputs, so many actions per minute. And I feel like when that muscle memory goes, sometimes I can't land an air dash combo for the life of me. And then sometimes I can't even drop it if I tried. It's just like so weird how my hands just totally forget the timing sometimes. That's what led me to ultimately not really playing her much anymore. It's just really hard to be consistent.
That makes sense. I totally feel that. As I understand, you proclaimed yesterday that if nothing were to change and the game stays the same, that you're a noob Cybot main. That's where you've fallen.
I would say at the end of the day,
Noob Frost or
Noob Frost for sure. So I think the beginning. So let's say like year one Mortal Kombat, like Melina's the character. I finally had to settle on a character to try to learn the game, and Noob is DLC, and so he's season 2 or whatever. The year 2, I really like his kit a lot, and he complements Frost really well. So, Frost Orb setups. What can I say? Having a win condition that's just when your win condition is just getting your opponent to the corner with resources, having bar and cameo, that's really fun. I feel like that can be super, super oppressive, and you can see people unraveling and scrambling, trying to get out of it. The real patient people are the ones that can get out of it, or force you into mixing up yourself because you don't really have a lot of time to both mix them up, but react to them blocking or moving or something. Like you kind of have to pre-commit to your throw or overhead or whatever it may be.
Right.
But yeah, I think noob is super, super fun.
Do you use the what's the move that we what's it called again? Not is it Embrace Chaos? Where
Yeah,
you use that at all? I still have yet to see anybody use
sometimes.
it. Like I'm not really sure how effective it is / isn't. But
I like it when I don't have any bar, or maybe I have bar, but I want to save it for the next round. And I know that if I hit them, if I can, because my Embrace Chaos combo with Frost, he can do. So if he does the low starter, so back 3/3 into Ice Carpet is like the perfect spacing. He can kind of buffer the recovery into the Embrace Chaos, so it comes out in a teeny little micro dash into standing 4. We'll start that whole thing, and I get like, I don't know, it's not like great damage, but it's enough to like end a round before I have to live the whole next rest of the round without having a clone, right? So that sort of situation where it can just kind of close something out, and I don't have to spend my meter because I don't have it or I want to save it.
that makes sense because it just takes your shadows away for the round, right? Not the rest of the game.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I keep forgetting about that stipulation. I keep thinking it's like the whole game, and I'm like, that doesn't sound very useful. But if it's just the round and you get it back, then
You can only use it once per game.
that okay.
Is
That's
the
why.
thing.
Yeah, that's why I was getting mixed up. I think I'm only using it once per game, and I still have yet to see the taunt that he does when he doesn't have the hand available. He goes to like fist bump the hand, and Dizzy was talking about how like people haven't mentioned that yet. I still have yet to see whatever that is.
You haven't seen it. I don't even remember what happens, but I remember that conversation for sure.
Like leaves him
I
hanging
don't
or
know. Did
something.
you ever try noob?
No, no, not out of not outside of just labbing like his strings and stuff.
You don't like him? You're not a noob cybit sort of fella?
No, he just doesn't do it for me. I don't know what it is about him. He's just not my jam. Out of all of the Chaos Reigns characters, I think I've probably toyed with him the least. Just trying to
Really?
familiarize myself with his strings. Yeah, I've even messed around with Cyrax a little bit, so not super
I was
seriously
gonna
or
say
anything.
Cyrax is probably bottom for me of the Chaos Reigns characters as far as like time spent experimenting
Right.
or trying. It was pretty clear pretty early that I was like, yeah, I don't know if this isn't gonna suit me.
Yeah, it wasn't really my playstyle either when I picked her up. I had a vision on what I thought she could do, and then it just ended up not being that at all. So I was like, okay, well, I tried, and then got on the Sector train and never looked back. She's been my queen. I'm really enjoying playing her. Got all the tools.
That's another good Frost team. Sector is a great character.
Yeah, she kind of has everything. It's kind of nice, just to have good buttons, good mids, a quick little overhead that's really good at catching people in the neutral. Like when they're chasing you down and you're just, blasting away, and then they get just in range, and just a forward dash and a back two. Catches people all the time. Super duper good.
Yep.
Super duper fun.
You ever accidentally mash it and you get the low follow up?
Yeah. Yes, that has happened to me. But generally, I do it into Shujinko, so that doesn't happen too often. More often than not, I accidentally end up wasting a Shujinko bar because I'm not hit confirming. I'm just doing it. Which can be kind of tricky to hit confirm sometimes, but I don't know. For the most part, it's pretty simple to see, especially if you've kind of conditioned them with your forward 3 a little bit too, or your back 3. You're kind of scared of them coming in the back 3 and then just boop, bop you on the head with a little overhead. Such a good feeling. Man, that character's dope. I want to play some MK now. Which I will be tomorrow.
Speaking of playing MK, yeah, I was gonna say. Okay. Take it away.
I beat you to it. Yeah, so I'm going to be playing in the Pro Comp North America West event tomorrow. I'll be streaming my matches to the Discord live, so if you're in there, come hang out and watch them. You can join. Links in the description of this video. Just go to the Patreon page. Once you join for $1, it's the first link on there. But yeah, no, I've been training pretty hard. I haven't trained this hard for something in a long time, and I was playing some matches yesterday, and I was feeling pretty good. I was really trying to focus on making sure that I use all of Sector's tools because she has so many things I just forget to use something. Like we were talking about the projectile parry. I forget she has that all the time, and I'm like, why did I not use it at all that one match? So that's kind of what I've been focusing on, is playing games and either just remembering my projectile parry, not even focusing on winning the game, just using that move just to make it fresh in my mind that I have it.
Yeah, getting used to it, like really grind it in there, and you get to charge your standing too at the same time. So
yeah, it's a big win, and that standing too, 16 frame plus 9 on block mid. It's pretty damn good.
Well, it'll have you thinking about that more, right? The more you have it, because you're parrying the projectiles, is the more opportunities to use that as a plus on block mid, like its enhanced version.
Yeah, and you can cancel it into a move if you want, and just, I don't know, it's super duper good. That's another one that I forget about a lot, which is kind of like where the projectile parry came in, doubly handy, right? You might gotta remember that that's there. Then you'll get your charge standing too. Remember to use that. Really good to kind of steal your turn back after someone does something that's like -6 or -7, and just boom, plus on block. Here comes a sidewinder, and away we go. So I'm I'm feeling pretty good, pretty confident. It's gonna be a bit of a tough grind. I got online Kale in my path. I think I have to win my first 2 matches, and then if I do win, I have to get past Bong Ripsky, I think his name is.
Bong Ripsky.
Bong
He's
Ripsky.
the GOAT. I don't even know. Never heard of him, but that name is sick.
Way better than Shujinkydink, so we'll see if I can get past that. And then I think Kung Lao for life is my next opponent, I think. And then if I make it past those 2, then I get to take on Kale, and I've played Kale before, and I've beat him in Combat League. I think he definitely has got the best of me if you're to look at, like, if we had a quote-unquote record in Combat League, but, like, just knowing that I've beat him before kind of brings that, like, stigma down a little bit.
And it's first to 2?
First to 3, I believe, all the way through. So, be interesting.
And then if you beat Kale, then that's top 32?
I'll be top 32, and if the trajectory goes the way that it is projected to, I would play Hourglass of Rain, I think. So probably Molina.
Yeah.
That would be a tough one. I don't know about that.
I would expect Molina.
Yeah. I don't expect, something like them to mess around too much. Well, you never know, but you don't want to look too far ahead in brackets. I've made that mistakes in the past before. I just kind of go take every opponent as you got. Don't underestimate anybody. One match at a time. You never know what can happen.
And it's still just a human on the other side, right? Not some super god mode, whatever. Just a person at the end of the day.
Just a person. Yeah, just a person at the end of the day, same as you, just playing the video games. So it's not like they're absolutely unbeatable or anything like that. But I just want to go have fun, have some hype matches, and do well. I've trained really hard this last week, and I'm feeling ready. I'm feeling ready to throw my name back in the hat in there. Even if it is just an online event. It's still a pro comp tour event, so maybe I'll get some points. Look at me just getting on the board. I don't know. Well, that was last season, though. I'm not even sure if I got any points for Evo last year. I'm not sure where the points dropped off there, but I don't know. We'll see.
What did you place at Evo?
65th.
Okay.
So I was in the top 10%. So, I mean, that's pretty good for an old man with my Sindel Shujinko team. I think that was...
That's right. That was the Sindel phase.
Yeah, that was funny. I think my first 3 matches in pools was basically just back to float infinites because they didn't understand how to get out of the pressure. And I realized that right away. I'm like, well, I'm not going to make this any harder for myself. But back to float, back to float, back to float. Oh, they got hit. Combo. Back to float, back to float. So it's that's the importance of matchup knowledge. You don't know one thing, you're just going to keep abusing it until you can show them that you get past it, right? So the joys of competition, I guess. First guy I beat didn't look too happy. He
No.
he already looked annoyed. I asked for a button check. I don't know if he had ever been to a tournament before or if he had, maybe been to tournaments for something else. But I was like, "Can I do a button check?" He's like, "Oh, I guess so." That's okay. I always do a button check, by the way. Just never forego your button check. You'll never know. The one time you forego your button check.
He didn't say, "Are you that Canadian YouTuber guy?"
Maybe he did under his breath or something, but that was another match. I think I've talked about this before. It was like I was watching the next match I was supposed to play in pools, and it was a really close set between a Katana, I think, and a Johnny Cage. It came down to like last hit, last round, and the Katana player won. And she jumped out of her chair and she was hugging all of her friends and all that kind of stuff. And I sit down and we're getting going and like, button check, like yeah, button check, that's fine. And then turn, go and give her a fist bump, like like good luck kind of a thing. And she's like yeah, and she's like, oh my god, you're Shujinkydink. And I was like,
Oh.
right before like game start, I was like, god damn it, is this mental thing? You're trying to mess with me here? I was like, but it was just funny. She was like just so in like her own little zone of like that last win, like her own hype that didn't really realize what was going on around her.
As soon as she made eye contact with you, she's like, "Oh, hey."
Yeah, pretty much. She was like, oh my god, it's you. I was like, oh, here we go. Like the GG's big fan kind of a thing,
So did she kick your ass?
No, I beat her 3-0. Same idea. I didn't really understand the back two shenanigans, but
did she unsubscribe?
I hope not. I hope she's still liked and subscribed with those notifications on, as the YouTube way goes. I've been a lot busier on that front the last week, making sure that I'm putting out more content. It took a couple weeks off there just for my own mental stack. And, there's a lot going on in life, and YouTube needed to take a back seat for a second. So now I'm back, and I'm retooling.
You're churning them out, churning out the videos.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with this Quan Chi Cameo thing. Well, okay, I can't say a lot of fun. It's like two ends of the spectrum. It's like super duper fun, and then absolutely the most unfun thing I've ever played in my life. Like using Striker and Kano was like,
Dude, you just make your life way harder than it needs to be, because not only are you doing that, you are also insisting on not using the tools that make them strong to begin with, because that's what everybody else uses.
Exactly.
Like with Farah, I don't want to do that. Everybody else is doing it, so it's just like some lackey and things like that. And it's like it's what makes her so good, and you're just not doing it out of like some sort of I don't know, character identity or something. I don't know. I'm confused, Dink.
It's more so that like I know what's good, and I want to play around with the rest of the stuff.
Okay, so I'm gonna the Farah video. I had one key takeaway. Every time, if you go back and watch that video, it happened in that first match versus Sub-Zero, and it happened later. There's a couple times where you have her out in Lackey, and you go, okay, go away, Farah. You're like talking to yourself, go away, Farah, and you send her off the screen.
Yeah.
And at those moments, instead of dismissing her, if you would have had her jump on your back instead, that could have been a situation, not just with the overhead and low, because she's got the crazy backwards movement, and you can do like instant air, neutral jump punch, jump forward, neutral jump punch. You definitely have options there to at least weave in. That's how I'd be doing the Quan Farah thing. I'd never seen that team before. I have no idea, but those were just watching it.
That's a good takeaway. I didn't hate
the one idea I had.
I didn't hate that cameo. I didn't actually know that she could do that, go from her little lackey thing right onto your back. So I might play around with that.
As long as she's in range. And you have to be recovered. It's not an ambush, but it's really, really quick. But you have to be able to, you have to be free to, like, as if you were doing a summon. But it's very fast.
Yeah, because if I was doing like some zoning, and then like I'm thinking that they're gonna jump in on me or something, I could just pick her up and knock them out of the air with her little upswing thing, and there's a combo right there. Now now you've done it. The gears are turning.
Or you knock them away and you do your armor portal. They're full screen. You do your armor portal, and then assuming that she's in lackey, right? You end your combo. You do your armor portal. They're like, oh fuck, I don't want to deal with this, but you just the lackey up on your shoulders, and you can pain and gain, or just be ready for their approach.
Yeah, that's true.
with that big old fatty half screen full combo starting neutral jump punch that's neutral or slightly advantageous on block.
Yeah, really bringing to life the old Ferrator days of MKX. That thing was a nightmare, man. Imagine having up block in that game. Oh man,
Ferrator's neutral jump punch in that game was hilarious.
it's just very hilarious.
It's like Scarecrow's jumping moves in Injustice 2. What was that? Was it
Oh,
his jump 3? Or his
right.
jump 2? What was the
I think
I
it
don't
was
know.
Jump 3 that had like that big kind of fuck you circle thing that goes around him, kind of thing. It was like
I don't
impossible to anti-air.
Yeah, I don't remember. I might be
Embellishing.
writing revisionism or rewriting the history there.
Yeah,
But just
either
because they're
way.
big buttons anyway.
Injustice, huh? I do miss playing that game. I do have it on Xbox, but every time I try and jump on that game, it's always dead. I can never find any decent
I wish it
matches.
had crossplay. Man, if that game had crossplay, I think it would be. I think if it had crossplay, it would be more alive online than MKX. You played MKX online? Are there still people out there playing? They're first to ones in the MK range.
Yeah, I don't miss that. I hop on very, very rarely. I'm every once in a while have it in me. I'm like, I'm gonna make an MKX video, and I play a warm up match. I'm like, nope, fuck this. It's fun to mess around in practice mode, but yeah, I don't hop around on that game online at all. I do feel that like if they do it right, and certainly not the way that they did MK1, I think if they do make an Injustice 3, that will be an extremely successful game. Like with all the quality of life stuff we've gotten to NRS games since that Injustice 2 has came out, with things like crossplay and all that kind of stuff, and like kind of improved engines. If they're given the time and if they learn the lessons that they should have learned from MK1, which I hope they did, I think Injustice 3 could be one of the top fighting games in the current meta of fighting games.
I was just talking about this game this morning and the prospects of if there was an Injustice 3 and like what has to happen. So like when the first Injustice came out in 2013, it was the first time. I'm not really a Superman sort of person. So the idea of like an unhinged Superman was kind of like appealing to me. But I agree that idea has just been like beaten into the ground. And there was way too much edgy, cringy stuff in the second Injustice between like Wonder Woman and Superman and Damian Wayne, especially.
Right.
They just need to do this multiverse thing, and we finally have the traditional versions. Like they don't need to be like Boy Scout versions of them or whatever. Well, let's get away from this. I feel like it's run its course. I would love a new Injustice game that doesn't need to be campy and stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying? Doesn't need to be the universe where Joker murdered Lois Lane and he went all crazy and stuff. Or maybe it can be that, but then they went to another universe.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it could just be like a nice Superman story, like a general Superman or Batman story or something like that.
I think WB said they wanted to focus on the Mortal Kombat and DC universe. They emphasize Batman, right? I
Right.
wouldn't be surprised if it was more of like a Batman, they'll center around Batman than Superman if they do another one.
Yeah, I could see that, and hopefully they don't go the evil Batman route.
think about think about Batman's rogues gallery and how many of those characters are already on the roster, and that's not even including like Killer Croc and like so many others that we haven't seen. Riddler and Penguin and dude, but what if it was just a Batman universe one?
Yeah, I mean that would be actually pretty cool. Not gonna lie. I mean, I don't know how like the Superman fans and all that kind of stuff would feel about that, but there's just so many characters within the Batman universe that you could make a fighting game out of just that, right?
Think about how many characters are on the Injustice 2 roster that are not from the Batman universe. I feel like every hero got like one of their villain counterpart sort of things, like Captain Cold is to the Flash. Even though they had the Reverse Flash Premier skin, right? But as far as like a main
Right.
roster, because Captain Cold's from the Flash universe, and some of these have like crossover. So many of them are from Batman. Cheetah is from Wonder Woman's. Black Manta's from Aquaman's. Black Manta was DLC, of course. I don't know. I just feel, but then you have like Bane and Harley Quinn and
Of course, the
Red
Joker.
Hood and Robin and Joker. Did I already say Harley? Poison Ivy, Scarecrow. I'm just
Two-Face.
going off the top of them. Oh, Two-Face hasn't been in one of these games. He
He
would have
was
been a cool cameo.
he was in the background of Injustice 1 in one of the stage transitions, I think, in the prison. Well, that's as much as we've
No,
seen
that
from
was
him.
Injustice 2. He's in the cage, isn't he?
Okay, then
In the
no,
cage.
I don't think that's him in the cage. I know he's in Injustice 1 because he's in the room with, I think it's him, Killer Croc, and the Penguin. The
Okay, yeah, I'm confusing my
it's like a stage transition
stage
thing.
transitions. Yeah.
Either way,
I
he
do
would be
like
sick.
stage transitions. I hope they come back, and I hope like background bounces, down two combos. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, right? We could gush about it all over again if we wanted to, but that game has a lot of redeeming qualities if they keep those core mechanics.
Yeah, a lot of really unique things to that franchise. I think they did a really good job building that and differentiating it from Mortal Kombat as far as gameplay wise goes for a back to block kind of fighter. I don't know. I
Yep.
hope the series doesn't die. I really enjoyed um, that a lot, and it's got a big following, so people love those types of games. So we'll see what they decide to do with that. I think where it would get tricky is the Batman Justice League kind of thing, because you kind of have to take that out of there. But I mean, if they made an Injustice 3 Batman focused one, and then maybe you kind of added some universes as combat packs or something. Like here's the Superman
Man,
universe, or
I,
here's
I was just
Flash.
gonna say there's so many lanterns I would love to see in an Injustice game, like Larfleeze and who's that other red one? Dang, she was on one of the combat cards in Injustice 2. I totally forgot her name.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know what her name is. I think I had her on my list of my wish list for Injustice
Is it
3.
Bleeze? That's not Bleeze. Is that somebody
I
else?
don't think so. You have a better shot at guessing it than I do. I knew it at one point in time, but I just
It
wanted to
is
see.
Bleeze.
Hey, look at you go!
I was looking it up.
A female lantern would be cool. I think we've been overdue to see that. I'm all in for that. But since we're on the topic of other fighting games, I understand you've been having a heck of a time with Tekken Season 2. Not that I know much about
Well,
it, but I know that Season 2 dropped and you were super stoked on Zafina or whoever it was. I think it was. Is that who you were playing in that
that's
game?
why. So I played when the game first came out for I don't know, like a month or two, and I was like, I'll come back if they announced Anna, and then Anna was announced to be the first character for season 2. So I was like, okay, so that was like a month and a half ago. So I kind of picked up the game again, uh, and like in preparation for this, and you want to be in for the wave and all the new tech and the new meta, whatever's like coming in with it. But it's been kind of a dude, even if I don't personally think it's a disaster, because I'm not a Tekken player. I don't even have any real opinions, but I can see how some people are upset about some of the changes and trying to explain it to people that don't know Tekken. Uh,
Right. Kind of difficult. You don't really understand how
it's
the game
it's not
works.
even difficult. It's just a matter of like because it really is like you see MKX get thrown out. I feel like it's worse than MKX.
Damn, really? That bad?
Well, because it's like you don't need meter. There's no in
True.
MKX you had stamina and you had EX. So okay, let's say this. I'll do my best attempt. But again, I'm not really a Tekken player. I understand kind of like what's going on, but Tekken has kind of like a reputation that's got a bit of uh, a skill floor.
Right.
Uh, an overwhelming amount of moves that kind of forces you to use like general rules, like being able to identify highs that you can duck, and what animations look like when you can do your bigger punishes, and pressure works different, and things like that. But they wanted to make it like really aggressive, right? And I think that's where a lot of the early MKX comparisons started to come from. But in MKX, imagine if the patch for MKXL was them saying, okay, we get it. You know, armored launchers is a little crazy. People getting like plus on block combo starters, we agree. That's some egregious stuff, right? That was some stuff that they had, you know, and it got changed in real life, right? The MKXL
Yep.
patch definitely took a lot of that back. So let's say that they still said all of those things, but said, well, but we still have the vision of it being like a rush down, really aggressive game. So they removed, let's say they removed a couple really egregious armored launcher situations or maybe 50-50 situations, but they gave every character like 3 or 4 more of those things. And
Oh.
it like really kind of like homogenized things. Like everything's like as if it wasn't already trying to like favor like rush down, like super relentless offense. That's what everybody's like doing now. So it is kind of like MKX, right? Is like run in for your 50-50 mix up.
Oh boy.
Everyone's like rush down mix up character. It's different flavors of it and stuff, right? But very similar game plans and things like that. Oh, and let's also take the stamina bar away. Because you know there's no resources like that to hold you back. You can just do that shit, and it's full launchers for no meter, and it's like so much damage.
It's
But
so
whatever. What's bummed me out about it is how mad everybody is. Like I don't even want to play it. No one's really even playing it. So
that's so crazy to me that's the state of Tekken because like even as like an NRS player, I've always seen Tekken as like that's like the fundamental fighting game. Like you're not gonna get too far by just mixing, a little bit here and there. But like if you have the solid spacing and fundamental fighting game gameplay, then you're gonna do well in that game, and that's what it takes to be the top. And to hear that it's like so mix heavy now is so nuts to me. That's just so crazy. And it's not even like the devs are aware of it. Like I saw them, they put out an official statement saying, "Hey, we know you don't like this. We're working on it. Sorry." Like,
yeah, but who even knows what that like? There's a couple game breaking bugs in the game right now, and the patch has been live for like 2 weeks, and that's like a comment about something that people have been pointing out, like when Street Fighter released like a DLC character with a game breaking bug, it was like fixed in a day. Even like how long did it take for them to fix Homelander, like actual Homelander's bug?
oh man, he was a leaky boat for a while there. Not gonna lie.
Right, but like as soon as like the Ghostface Infinite was discovered, I feel like they hot fixed that out really like fast enough, faster than they could find a fix for it. So he just lived without that thing for a while. But but Bandai Namco, they've done nothing about any of this stuff other than release that statement saying we're aware of these two things that should not be happening, and we've heard you on this other stuff, but they've said that before, and that's what like I feel like a lot of people are mad is that they're listening to the feedback. They've confirmed that they're it's it's like a big complaint people have about Blizzard, where it's not like you, the consumer, you don't tell me what you want. I tell you what you're supposed to like. It's a lot of
Right.
that mentality, right? I'm the one making the game. No, no, no. If you're not having fun, then you're not trying hard enough or something, right? I get to decide what's fun. That's kind of like what I'm gathering from a lot of that, and it's more of a mainstream game, and they've been very vocal that they want to be more of a spectacle. Like
Right.
Tekken 7 did start to flirt with a lot of this stuff, but still had a lot of defense, and a lot of like high level matches were just kind of like who can backdash the most on the infinite stages. And I feel like that's what they didn't want to happen again. But now it's not even a spectacle. It's just whoever gets their offense started first, like sort of thing. And I was just reading earlier today, this guy's like, it is so hard to be like a local TO. We just had our monthly. Tekken usually brings out like 30 or 40 people, and we could barely fill like a 9-man bracket.
Dang. Feels bad.
Other people talking, they're just stopped because they feel like they're going to get worse if they play it right, because the fundamentals have kind of changed. The decision making is like different, and so they're just kind of taking a break. And to each their own. If you're having fun, you're having fun. I'm having fun with Anna and stuff, and I'm not like a real Tekken person enough to be like really. I'm mostly upset that everyone else is upset, and so no one feels like playing. Right? It just doesn't feel like
Right.
a very fun game to play right now because no one's happy. So
Yeah, I tried it. Some of you might remember I had the Tekken Tuesdays I did for like a couple weeks. and it was pretty evident to me the game just wasn't for me. I had fun, learned a couple combos with Lily, but then when I'm looking at the roster, it's like there are so many characters. That's so many matchups to learn, and each character has so many moves I'm not used to. It was just overwhelming, and it's like, no, I don't want to get into this. So, I mean, I still own it. I could boot it up, I think. Oh, actually, I think I bought it on PlayStation, so I probably can't. My PlayStation died.
Yeah.
But it might be on Game Pass. I doubt it. I doubt it, but
I don't think so. No.
yeah. Either way, it doesn't sound like I'm missing much. The Tekken community is pretty up in arms over this, and it's unfortunate to see because a lot of the people in the MK community have like picked this kind of moment to try and dunk on them and be like, haha, you shit talked our games for all these years, now look at what's happening to yours. And I just don't think comments like that are very helpful. It's but I mean, it's the usual people come out in troves to say that. Like, we're supposed to be fighting game community.
I feel like that just online culture where people just need to take victory in other people's failures or sadness and stuff. It's like always got to be a pop off, and it's like very tribal. I don't think I saw any of that because MK is always getting shit on, by like everybody. So I saw a couple of those. I saw people still trying to dunk on MK and then coming back with like, listen, like we don't even want to get into the state of your game right now. Like if you want to be talking about MK.
Yeah. There's a lot of things to dunk on for MK1, so I mean I wouldn't want to be getting into those types of conversations. So I will say I don't think gameplay is one of them, which is a nice thing, to be honest. But
did you see Foxy's post? MK9 is a god tier game. MKX is a god tier game. MK11 is a game. MK1 started as like total shit, but became a good game.
Yeah, I mean,
you agree with that?
I'm not 100% sure because like the gameplay of MK1 is very, very solid, but it's still missing a lot of things that are just quality of life and like things to do.
Yeah, not god game, but good game.
I would say it's a good game. It's a good game, especially for the price that you could pick it up for nowadays. If it's worth what I've been paying for, and I don't know about that, but when you think of like Mortal Kombat 9, as messed up as the gameplay was, you had like a crypt to go through, you had the challenge towers. The online King of the Hills were some of my best memories playing a game online because you're just standing in the crowd and with your little Xbox dude or PlayStation dude or whatever, you're throwing tomatoes at the screen and you're putting up like 10s and 9s or whatever. Like I don't know. It was just, there was so much to do in that game. MKX, same idea. Big crypt to go through, that kind of thing. MK11, as flawed as that gameplay was, there was a lot of things to do in that game. It was pretty fun. Even if you do just play through the crypt once, it was still just a fun experience. So I don't know. MK1 god tier gameplay, very milquetoast on everything else. But
I really like the MK1 roster. I think that well, I don't know. Who's missing? Scarlett's the only one missing from the MK11 roster. Like if she was in MK1, I would prefer this roster over any other game probably.
I think that there's a lot of things to criticize MK1 on, and one of the things that I've seen people mention is like, this, because we've had the string of guest characters, and they're like, we need to put more MK characters in, and it's like, I can't think of a single Mortal Kombat game that has more MK characters than MK1. When you include cameos and main roster and all that kind of stuff, like so many characters came back in ways that I never thought they would. So I feel like that's one of the things that they did well, and I think that they had a different vision for how they wanted to do that. Which is a shame that we never got to see that. Maybe some point in the future, but I think that there are a couple characters missing. Some characters that kind of just straight up wrote out, like Dairu. So, which I don't think he needs to come back anyways, but like, Scarlett's one.
I don't know, he could be cool. Or maybe I'm thinking of Hotaru.
I was going to say Hotaru is probably the one that you're thinking of. I think,
yeah.
If I had to guess, I think maybe he was planned at some point, and maybe they just ran out of. Maybe he still is. Who knows? We have no idea what the future of the game holds. I'm highly doubtful on that. I'm pretty pessimistic on any future stuff for the game, but we'll see.
What did we already talk about? Speculate on a 3-character combat pack 3, like how MK11 had Melina, what was it? Melina, Rambo, and Rain.
I
Did we
know.
already talk about that?
I know that we've brought that
Like
up
our
in
wish list for
conversation
that?
before, but I'm not sure if we actually came up with that. But maybe we can. I would need some time to kind of look at some rosters and see exactly who I wanted to come up with that. Maybe someone in the comments
I
can let me
just
know.
think by default, I think Jade would take Melina's spot, right, as the kind of the community outcry character.
Yeah, and then meme her up, meme her up big
Yeah.
time. 1,000
Oh, we
voices.
did talk about it because we were making fun of Melina's hair. I remember.
Oh, right, the bob. Yeah.
Dora the Explorer.
Dora the Explorer. That was actually pretty funny. And then she was just low tier AF. What a troll by NRS. Every once in a while they make me giggle, but so that's it. After by the time that this comes out, I'll have already competed in the Pro League, and everyone can wild at how good I am and how great I did, and pat me on the back and say, "Good job, Dink. You're not washed. You got this." Or I'm crying in a corner somewhere, very disappointed with my showing.
You got this, Dink.
We'll see. I believe, and then it'll be fun either way. Just throwing my name in the hat is always a good time. So, but podcast is always a good time. Thanks for listening. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out. Subscribe if you haven't. Just make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks and all that stuff. And we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.